Hello everybody, welcome back to Christy Joby YouTube channel. First of all, I would like to thank you for your great support to my previous video on poster making. In today's video, we are going to discuss how the US President is elected. Every 4 years, the United States presidential elections makes headlines around the world. Every 4 years, the people of the United States of America decide whether a Democrat or a Republican gets to hold the White House for the next 4 years. But most of us do not know what is the process of the election. Let us go into the video, but don't forget to like, share and subscribe. The race for the 46th President of the USA has completed amid the novel coronavirus pandemic, and the Democratic Party nominee Joe Biden has been declared elected the President of USA. India is the largest democracy in the world, whereas the US is the oldest democracy. Although both countries are democratic republics, there are some differences in the way both governments function. The President of India is elected by an electoral college comprising of the MPs of both the houses and MLAs of the legislative assemblies of all the states and union territories. But the presidential election in the USA is quite different from the Indian process. Now let us look at how the President of the United States of America is elected. First of all, a candidate for the President of the US must set 3 qualifications or requirements for holding the presidency. To serve as the President, one must be a natural born citizen of the United States, be at least 35 years old, and be a resident of the US for at least 14 years. The US President and the Vice President are not directly elected by the people. Instead, they are chosen by electors through a process called the Electoral College. The entire election process of the US President and the Vice President can be consolidated into 5 steps: primaries and caucuses, national conventions, election campaigning, general elections, and electoral college. Now, let us look at each of these in detail. First, let us talk about primaries and caucuses. The first step for the political parties is to nominate a potential leader for the presidential post. In order to choose the nominee, parties first hold primaries and caucuses. Primaries are run by state and local governments. So, it is a state level election where party members vote for the best candidate who will represent them in the general elections. Caucuses are private meetings run by political parties in a city or a town. In most cases, the participants or delegates in the caucuses divide themselves into groups according to the candidate they support. At the end, the number of votes in each group determines how many delegates each candidate has won. Next, we discuss national conventions. Once the primaries and caucuses are completed, a national convention is held in which each party's nominations for the president is finally announced to the public. During these conventions, the elected delegates cast their vote for the party candidate, and the candidate with the most delegates gets the party's nomination. The third one is election campaigns. Campaigns begin after a single nominee is chosen from each political party through primaries, caucuses, and conventions. These candidates travel throughout the country explaining their views and plans to the general public and trying to win support of the political voters. The fourth one is general elections. General elections usually take place in November. People in every state across the country vote for one president and one vice president. When people cast their vote, they are actually voting for a group of people known as electors. These voters of each state vote for electors to be the authorized constitutional members in a presidential election. These electors are the local leaders who collectively form the electoral college. The last one is electoral college. The electoral college is the most basic sense of the electoral system. As we have already discussed, when the US citizens vote, they are actually voting for a group of people called the electors. The number of electors varies from state to state, depending upon the number of senators and representatives each state has in the US Congress. Each state has two senators, and representatives are based on their respective population. There are 50 states in the US, and so there are 100 senators. At the same time, there are 438 members or representatives in the US House of Representatives who are appointed by the states on the basis of population, with each state having minimum one. Therefore, the least populous states like Vermont, Wyoming, Alaska, etc. sent 3 members to the US Congress, and state like California, the most populous state, sends 2 senators and 53 representatives for a total of 55. These 538 electors across the entire US form what is called the Electoral College. Now the things become very easy for us to understand. A presidential candidate must win an absolute majority of 270 electoral votes in the Electoral College to win the presidency of the United States of America. And the new president takes office on January 20th. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.